Everyone wants to call Caleb Williams generational and talk about resetting the quarterback window, but not many people are talking about how risky it is to take a quarterback number 1 overall or even in the top 5. The quarterback position is simply the hardest position to get right in the entire NFL, and there is never a guarantee that a college player will translate into the pros. There are way more busts than there are hits at the top of the draft when it comes to picking a quarterback. Today's video is about seeing the bigger picture, talking about Justin Fields and the quarterback position, whether or not we should draft one in next year's draft, and why fans continue to blame Justin Fields for wins and losses. I feel like this is a video for the Justin Fields detractors just as much as it is the fans. So if you're not a believer in Justin Fields, stick around. Listen to this one video, and if your opinion doesn't change, tell me why and give me your reasons in the comments. Don't just say bustin' Fields. Tell me why. Let's get right into it. Every quarterback that has ever had success in the NFL was surrounded by talent. This fan base and city gives Justin no room for development. Since he was drafted, he's been put in awful situations with coaches that have never had success at this level. Our defense until the last 6 weeks has been the worst I've ever seen this century. We allowed an NFL record of 25+ point games, and honestly were embarrassing a lot of the times. Justin Fields routinely tried to put this team on his shoulders and carry them to victory. Most people with a lot of NFL knowledge will tell you that playing hero ball in the NFL rarely works out. But we put Fields in a position where he literally had to play hero ball for us to even have a chance to win. Yet even when he comes up short, it's all his fault. The Chicago Bears franchise has never developed a quarterback successfully as a franchise in my lifetime, so it's understandable for fans to lack patience, but here's the problem. It's as simple as the chicken and the egg theory. What comes first? How can we have success from our quarterback position when we always have bad offensive lines, inconsistent receiver play, and haven't even had an average offensive play caller in decades, not to mention it's Chicago where it's freezing cold and the windy city, making it even harder for quarterbacks to have success. On top of that, they need things around them in order to succeed in the NFL. And the cherry on top is that no quarterback coming out of the NFL draft is ever a guarantee. I think that's the biggest thing that most fans are missing. If we give up on Justin Fields and draft another quarterback, if that quarterback doesn't work out, you set the franchise back another decade. Think about that. Everyone wants to talk about resetting the quarterback contract window. That makes no sense. We are a franchise that hasn't had a franchise QB in decades. The closest thing was Jay Cutler, and now we have a guy who could possibly be that player, and people want to give up on him and roll the dice again. Caleb Williams and Drake May are not perfect. They are not sure things. They have both turned the ball over in the fourth quarter and make plenty of mistakes, and that's in college. Both guys have a lot of growth to do before they can step in and lead a franchise like the Bears. Playing quarterback in the NFL is more mental than it is physical. The haters out there want to call me a Justin Fields fanboy, but that's the farthest thing from the truth. I am a huge fan of Justin Fields, but I am a die-hard Chicago Bears fan that bleeds orange and blue. I root for Justin because it's best for the franchise, period. He's on our team, he's our quarterback, and his success is best for the Chicago Bears. But on top of that, I believe in this guy. I've watched every snap he's ever taken going back to high school. He is as talented as a player that we've ever had at the quarterback position, and honestly, in my opinion, we failed him as a franchise. He's had 2 different offensive coordinators in 3 years. Neither one has had any success at the NFL. Justin has started 33 games in the NFL. He's done that with 28 different combinations on the offensive line. Think about that. 33 games, 28 different offensive lines, and how have we set him up for success with a different O-line in almost every single game? Honestly, that's just pathetic from our standpoint. On top of that, he has one receiver who has over 400 receiving yards this year. It's DJ Moore, and he's only got to play a few games with DJ. I like Darnell Mooney, but he's been invisible this year. It's simply a fact that we have not put Justin in a position to succeed. His last two starts are the first two starts where he's gotten to play with the real starting five on offensive line. That's just 2 games now that Fields has got to work behind this line, and he nearly won both games. I truly believe that Justin Fields has enough talent to lead this team to a Super Bowl. I truly believe that our best course of action this offseason is to continue adding talent around our quarterback. If I thought Caleb Williams or Drake May was better than Justin Fields or a better guy to lead this franchise, I would tell you straight up. I have no allegiance to Justin Fields and could change my logo on this channel in less than an hour. But to me, my logo and Justin Fields represent something. Hope that I haven't had in nearly 20 years. Even if you hate Justin Fields and root against him, you cannot deny his talent. He's easily the most talented QB prospect we've ever had. We gave Rex Grossman 6 years in Chicago. Mitch Trubisky got 4 full years. Yet our fan base gave up on Fields after just 2 seasons. And that's with 2 different head coaches and 2 different first-time play callers. Not to mention he couldn't even go 2 straight games with the same offensive line. To me, Justin Fields has to continue playing better. He has to cut down on his fumbles and produce more passing yards going forward and operate in the pocket better. He's not perfect, and there are a lot of things he has to get better at, but I've seen enough to suggest that he can be the guy for the Chicago Bears. The national media always writes off quarterbacks early. Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts were considered busts just 2 years ago, and now they are the darlings of the NFL. To put it simply, even if we give up on Justin Fields, I expect him to have success somewhere else. How much of a Bears-type move would that be? Giving up on Justin Fields to let him go have success with another team while we draft a QB that probably ends up being much worse. That's my nightmare, and I don't understand why anyone thinks drafting an unproven rookie QB is the answer. Rookie quarterbacks rarely win in the NFL, and before you say CJ Stroud's name, realize he is the exception and not the rule. And even CJ Stroud most likely will not make the playoffs or win a playoff game this season, and he's a rookie sensation. Andrew Luck was the generational quarterback, and he got beaten into early retirement. Fields is actually on pace to take more sacks than him, but apparently that's all his fault. Look around the NFL. How many of the best quarterbacks were number 1 picks? It's clear that scouts and GMs, and especially fans, can't identify who the great quarterbacks are going to be before they get to the NFL. So why do we think they're right all of a sudden now? Even this year, Bryce Young was the number 1 quarterback taken when it's pretty clear to anyone who's watched football this season that CJ Stroud should have been the pick. Patrick Mahomes went after Mitch Trubisky. Josh Allen went after Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold. Jalen Hurts went in the 2nd round. Russell Wilson and Dak Prescott are 3rd round picks. Kirk Cousins was a 4th rounder. Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant in the 7th round. Guys like Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson were passed on for guys like Alex Smith and Baker Mayfield. Teams have mortgaged their futures for players like Trey Lance, but then found success with Brock Purdy. For every number 1 pick quarterback that turns out to be good, there are 2 or 3 times more busts that have came through the NFL. Just look back at recent NFL draft history, and I can give you so many names of quarterbacks that ended up being busts. Brady Quinn, Vince Young, David Carr, Joey Harrington, Tim Couch, Cade McNown, Jamarcus Russell, Ryan Leaf, Mark Sanchez, Sam Darnold, Blake Bortles, Jameis Winston, Marcus Mariota? What about Carson Wentz, Mitch Trubisky, Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and so many more? Taking a quarterback in the first round is about as risky as a position as you can take at any point in the NFL draft. Taking one in the top 5 or even number 1 overall does not improve the chances that they will be good. Drafting quarterbacks in the NFL is not a science, and nobody knows if these guys will work at the NFL level. One other point here is Bears fans, a lot of people don't watch a ton of NFL games. They see highlights and hear stories about Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, but they don't watch every single game and see that even the great quarterbacks struggle, make mistakes, and even have bad games. So every time our quarterback makes one mistake, it doesn't mean he's terrible. But because of that, they want to see perfection from our quarterback, and some choose to magnify every single little mistake that the guy makes. But the bottom line is that Justin has the talent to be the guy. If we draft a quarterback, it comes with a ton of risk. If that quarterback works out, maybe things get better here, and I definitely root for the guy. But that's a huge question mark. There's simply no guarantee with any of next year's signal callers, and if that is the route Ryan Poles goes, his job suddenly becomes dependent on that pick. If he trades Justin Fields and misses on a quarterback, this franchise is going to be bad for another 10 years. But think of the other side. If we keep Justin next year, we don't have to pay him big money yet. It's only year 4 of his rookie contract, so we have a ton of free agent money, 2 top 10 picks, and a ton of flexibility to make this team better. We draft Marvin Harrison Jr. in either a defensive end or left tackle. We improve the roster via the draft and free agency and give Fields the best talent he's ever worked with. And then he either develops into that guy and leads us to the playoffs next year, or Poles gets another shot to draft a QB in 2025 or 2026 when guys like Shadur Sanders, Arch Manning, and Dante Moore are coming out. Justin Fields has shown that he has the talent, work ethic, leadership skills, and more to be the quarterback of the Chicago Bears. I think he deserves at least one more season with more help around him. On top of that, think of all the rookie QBs who had success after round 1. We already have Tyson Bagent on the roster, an incredible story and backup quarterback that is capable of operating the offense. Poles could also take another shot at quarterback in the mid-rounds without burning a top 10 pick. Then we could hypothetically enter next year with Justin Fields, Tyson Bagent, and a quarterback that falls since this is a deep class. Imagine landing Michael Penix Jr., Quinn Ewers, or even Jordan Travis as our third quarterback. Could even end up getting another undrafted guy or 7th round pick like Spencer Rattler, Riley Leonard, or Tua's younger brother from Maryland. But if we spend those 2 first-round picks on a wide receiver and a player in the trenches, whether it's offensive or defensive line, then whoever is our quarterback will be put in a better position to succeed. Even if it's Tyson Bagent, don't you want him to have Marvin Harrison Jr. to throw the ball to? Let's build some continuity on this offensive line and have more weapons at wide receiver other than DJ Moore. To me, that is simply the best course of action going forward. The only flip side to that is we will probably not have the number 1 pick again, so this year is a unique opportunity to improve the roster. But for that reason, why not just trade down with one of those picks and accumulate more first-round picks going forward? I simply do not believe drafting a quarterback over Marvin Harrison Jr. is the best way to go. You guys let me know what you think in the comments. I've put a lot of thought into this one and a lot of work, so let me know what you think. Give me your comments and your real thoughts on why Justin Fields is or isn't the guy. Please remember to hit that like button for me. Stay tuned. I have a ton more coming. And until next time, bear down.